We are back. We are on day 17 of Miracle March, and it's been such an amazing journey. Every single day, we're able to sit and speak. Well, I normally stand. Today, I'm sitting. And that's because I'm in a different location. But Miracle March, we are typically speaking to new entrepreneurs, helping them transform their minds by influencing, coaching, aspiring entrepreneurs while empowering them to succeed. And today we have such, I gotta sneeze, excuse me. Jeez. Today we have such a special guest, Jocy. How are you? Where
I'm
are you?
good.
There you
How
go.
are you?
I'm doing awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So good to have you.
It's so good to talk to you again.
Tell me, what did we talk about the last time? And
Uh, I
go
feel
ahead.
like it's the same conversation. We talked about our purpose, and when I first talked to you, um, I think I was just sort of uncovering what I think my purpose is, and I think now I still would like to pick your brain and your thoughts about how to kind of narrow my focus a little bit better.
Let's do it. So, what are you focusing on now?
Right now I'm focusing on real estate, but I think I guess we call it a wee why is I want to be a mental health advocate, and I feel like I've sort of slowed down on that a little bit in the past couple weeks.
Why do you think that is?
Um, I feel like I find writing very cathartic, and I started a blog about mental health and things like that. But I find it hard to write about things if I'm not feeling that emotion. So I
Mm,
guess I haven't been as like sad lately. So there hasn't been a lot to write about, and the things that are good, I guess I just kind of feel okay or sort of neutral, and I don't really have anything to write about or an instance I can think of that kind of
right.
falls in the neutral mood.
Now, what happened that made you even think about doing it before?
Well, I'm in therapy and going to like classes and things and learning about how to cope. Um, so I think that's kind of what spurred it on is learning from other people and tell like relating with my stories and encouraging them. I found makes me feel good, and having them support me really helps a lot too. So I wanted to bring that opportunity to other people who might be, there's still a stigma around mental
Mhm,
health.
mhm.
So I thought sharing my story might help other people.
And now you think it doesn't because you may not be in that state right now anymore. Is kind of what you're saying.
I think so. And I understand the point of like you don't have to be an expert to teach somebody something, but I'm a very all like black and white or all or nothing thinker. So I
Hmm.
feel like now that I'm kind of in the state of like everything is just fine. I'm not really happy or sad. It's hard for me to find the inspiration to relate to others or, share stories in that state.
Now, what's caused you to get in this such a neutral state where you're not able or not inspired to share? Do you think something happened that has caused you to be in a neutral state now?
Oh, sorry, you cut out for just a second.
Do you think something happened for you to be in such a neutral state now?
Well, I'm on some medications, which I didn't really want to take. And then I ended up like, I might as well try it and see what
Hmm.
happens. But I think the good thing about them is like my lows aren't as low, but then my highs aren't as high. Like you just kind of end up being fairly neutral, or at least in my experience, that's what it's been like.
And how does that make you feel? Neutral.
It's weird. I'm very, very, very into my feelings, if that makes sense. Like I'm very emotional, like very in tune with my feelings.
Yeah.
So when I first started, um it was good to usually if I get upset, I'll cry for like 10 minutes or like just get it out and
Hmm.
then, try to move on. But the unfortunate side effect, at least for me, is that I can't get that like need to cry out because I don't feel it. So I think that is the double-edged sword. Lows aren't as low, but you can't really I can't feel things like I normally would.
And that's interesting. And this is from medication, and this was recommended by your therapist, correct?
Hmm. Yes. Psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist. Now,
Hmm.
if you had to choose, you go in the grocery store of emotions. What
Hmm.
emotions would you typically want to have?
Typically, so I'm generally like a happy, bubbly, extroverted person. And of course, I suffer from depression and anxiety and panic. So typically, I have like very high highs and very low lows.
Hmm.
Um, so it's weird to just not like I don't feel nothing, but it's difficult to feel like really happy or very sad or any, you know, it just
Yeah.
sort of numbs you, I guess, which
Mm.
is, good. So my lows aren't as low, but
Yeah.
not always helpful.
Have you ever heard about Gary Brecka?
I've heard the name before, but I don't think I recognize it.
So he's in 10X Health. He's like a part of like Grant Cardone's network. Extremely intelligent man. Like he used to be a mortician. Uh,
Hmm.
some crazy. Forgive me, I don't remember the name of what he did, but essentially what he did was he used to work for insurance companies, and he was
Hmm.
one of a handful of experts who could basically tell you to the month or the day when somebody would pass based on a
Oh, no.
sickness, based on something like these gene tests that they would take.
Hmm.
And he one day he met this man. He was doing the same thing for the insurance company. So insurance companies hire these guys because they don't want to pay more than they have to. So
They
if
have
they
to.
could exactly, if they could predict when somebody's going to pass, then they could give them an appropriate premium so that
Hmm.
they don't have to pay more. Now, he ended up leaving them simply because one day there was this guy who they were going to recommend something to, and he decided that he also knew the thing that he could do to save his life. And
Oh, cool.
so because the insurance company said that if he ever did that, that they would like it would be like a federal offense or whatever, and he would get locked up. He simply just quit
Oh.
and started his own practice where instead of predicting people's death, he could extend their lives by fixing the things that's wrong in their genes um,
Oh, cool.
using supplements. Now, I say all that to say that I have seen him use and talk about situations like you're describing where somebody doesn't have an emotion or somebody that's depressed and they give you an antidepressant, but it keeps you very neutral because it just suppresses it. It doesn't essentially fix it. And
Hmm.
so there
Hmm.
are genes that you may be having a deficiency in your body that that needs a supplement to be able to give you what you need. And I think checking him out and doing a gene test would be an amazing thing and life-changing thing for you because
Mhm.
I've seen it work on people that I know. And I say it work, but I've seen them recommend supplements to help
Mhm.
persons who are having like very similar very similar diagnosis like you. And
Mhm.
it's almost like a miracle. Like it feels like a miracle simply because, like, when someone's been living under their potential of feeling happy or whatever, and then they get those things back, it's like a new you. And so I would definitely
Mhm.
check it out. And also, like, the gene test would be the thing that you would probably need to do to for them to take a swap of, like, me. I think it's just saliva, and then they're able to call you in a few weeks and tell you kind of, hey, here's where the deficiencies are, and they'll break it down way more intelligently than I'm doing right now. But I think that would be
You're
a
giving
really,
me the high level.
yeah, that's all I know. I wish I was a scientist to help you, but
No worries. No, that sounds really interesting because I hate taking so many pills every morning. And they help, they're helpful,
sure.
my lows aren't low or aren't
Hmm.
as low, but it's hard to, my coping mechanism, if there's something wrong, I'll like cry and now I can't just get that emotion out. It's either I'm neutral or it's like an extremely low or something like that. So it's weird to not feel like my full range of
Hmm.
emotions.
Where does your mind go when you don't feel happy, if you don't mind me asking?
Like a low or like a neutral?
Like a low. What does that mean?
So I've struggled with depression since for as long as I can remember. And I know that it's like a lot of factors, like genetics, your biology, your environment, things like that. So I tend to take criticism more personally than I should, or is really accurate.
Hmm.
So I feel like I internalize a lot of that.
How do you how do you see yourself? Like, if we had to go in and talk about the self-image, like, what do you see yourself as? What's that person on the inside? If Could you describe that person to me?
Um, you got me right in the heart, Custom. um, can I describe how I would talk to myself? Because I'm not sure I have an image of like who I am
Okay.
on the inside.
Okay.
So at least recently, the past like X amount of months, it's been I'm incapable and worthless, and it doesn't make a difference. Like I feel like I'm easily replaceable. Um, I I I feel like I can't see any of the positives when I'm in
Hmm.
like the negative place. Like I'm a all or nothing thinker and I discount all the positives. So, for example, if my husband tells me I'm smart, instead of taking that compliment, I'll tell him that he's blinded by love. And so I know he means well, but I just don't like believe him, I guess. So that's kind of where I go, and then I go back to, when I was, you know, called too stupid to succeed in life, or I'm too fat for anyone to like me, and like that sort of internal narrative.
Hmm. And so you had some of that when you were growing up. People
Hmm.
calling you fat or um, stupid, things like that.
Yeah.
Now, have you have you heard of like neurogenetics and that type of stuff?
I've heard of the term, but I haven't heard a lot about it.
So essentially, what's happening is it's like you have these neural pathways, right? And so it's your brain. It gets think about um did you grow up here in the US or in
I did.
another country? Okay. So like let's say you're walking on your lawn
Mhm.
and you have a tool house, like let's say a lawnmower and all that type of stuff is like in the back, and you have your grass in between your house and the tool shed, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
If you're walking towards that tool shed and you walk in the same path every single time, eventually it starts to create a pathway in the grass because it starts to wear and tear on that spot. You've
Mhm.
seen that happen before, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So what happens in our minds is that we get so used to walking in that pathway, even though there's a lot of grass, we will automatically go to the pathway and just go in the pathway automatically.
Mhm.
We just wouldn't walk on the other side of the grass because there's a
Mhm.
pathway. So let me just go in the pathway.
Exactly. Mhm.
And our minds, we get so used to the pathway of saying things to ourselves that um so like the negative thoughts and the narratives we tell ourselves, it's the same pathway that we react to, and so that's how you build a habit, right? And so
Mhm.
our mind is so used to saying whatever narrative we've said for all these years because it's created a pathway to that emotion and to those thoughts. And so
Mhm.
now, and where we could go deeper, now there's the paradigms, and so the habits that's been passed down from one generation to the next, that all lives in your subconscious mind. And at the top you have your conscious mind. Let's say right below it you have your subconscious mind, and then then they both control your body, right?
Mhm.
And so your thoughts is in your conscious mind. So your thoughts, and you have the ability to accept or reject what anyone says. That's in your conscious mind. You can accept or reject anything, right? And that's your intellectual mind. That's what you think with. Your subconscious mind does not have the ability to accept or reject. Your subconscious mind must take whatever is being poured into it. It's like the earth. Like if you plant a mango seed in the earth, it's going to give you a mango tree. But if you plant
Mhm.
poison ivy, that's gonna sprout out too. So whatever you plant into the subconscious mind is gonna give it back to you. So I say all that to come back and say now that when we were younger and we were kids, you grew up in the US, but where are your parents from here?
No, we came from the Philippines, so all my siblings were born there. I was the only one born here.
Cool. So if you grew up in the Philippines, you would have had a somewhat of a different culture
Right.
than you do here growing up in the US, right?
Mhm.
And so and the reason for that is your environment where you are shapes your paradigms, it shapes your subconscious mind, it shapes your habits, but you still grew up in a Filipino home, so there are things that you still do based on the culture of a Filipino home. Now,
Mhm.
do you think if you grew up in Japan, what language do you think you'd be speaking right now?
Probably Japanese.
100% Japanese, right? Because that's where you grew up. So, because wherever your intellectual mind doesn't have it wasn't formed yet. So, everything was being poured right into your subconscious, and that's where you gain your habits. So, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter what country you grew up in, the culture or the whatever that is going to be poured right into you, the habits. And so that forms your habits and who you are, but it also forms your self image. So
Okay.
when you don't have the ability to accept or reject, it forms who you believe you are. And that's stored in the subconscious mind. Now, it created a lot of neural pathways. It created a lot of things that you just believe to be true simply because it's thoughts passed down to you when you did not have the ability to accept or reject it. Even the traumas and the things that
Hmm.
you've went through when you were a kid, people telling you those things, if it was not reinforced that you're not that, then you tend to believe,
Hmm.
oh, okay, I guess I am that. So I like to explain those things simply because my hope is that now you could see kind of how we could start changing those thoughts and where those thoughts need to be changed. It needs to happen on the subconscious level. This is what I'm saying
Hmm.
making sense right now?
Yeah, it does. Because if I get like low, it usually starts off like with whatever criticism I had, and then I'll just keep beating myself up. But when I was repeating it back to you, like, yeah, those are definitely things I heard when I was, younger.
Hmm. So here's what we need to do now. That I wish I could tell you that it's gonna be easy, but it's not gonna be an easy road to change this. Simply because it's gonna be creating new pathways, right? Your habits, your it's almost like an addiction to think in the old way. The first thing you
Mm,
gotta do is become aware of it, right? To become aware that um I'm having these thoughts, which you are. You are aware that you're having these thoughts. Now, the next thing is to have a destination. So now you got to say, okay, I'm going to create a new pathway to here, right? So right now there's
okay.
an existing pathway, but now we got to say, I'm going to create a pathway to the right. And so what does that mean? When someone says, your husband says, "Oh, Josie, you're an amazing cook." Are you going to believe it?
Had Filipino food before. I mean, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to believe it.
Well, you know what? Let's take your husband out of the picture because it starts with you. And I wish, could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. You being able to assure yourself and reaffirm yourself is going to be the first step. Getting support from people on the outside, that's great, but your internal world creates you. And so let's start with what you tell or you start believing about yourself. Now, if you could picture you're a fly on the wall, right? And you're hearing
Hmm.
three people talking about you. They're talking about you and they're describing you in using words that is just like the most amazing words ever. Like you hear this and it makes you feel super happy. It gets you excited and it just makes you feel really good.
Hmm.
What are three words that come to mind that you would have that you heard?
Um, that I'm very loving.
Okay.
Um, very. I feel like caring falls under loving, so I think it's loving and caring. I'm kind. and compassionate.
Okay. Why loving?
Um, because I care about. I mean, I guess an anecdote would make more sense. So, my brother was describing me, and he was like, Josie's the type of person who will give you anything she can to help you. Like if it was the shirt off her back, she would give it to you if you needed it. So I guess because I often put others' needs in front of my own.
Awesome. And so loving, caring, and kind, they're all kind of the same, even compassionate, right? So I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask you why compassionate? Because maybe you may have a different meaning for it. Why compassionate?
I feel like I empathize very well with other people, kind of putting myself in their shoes. And I guess if I'm in a place where I can help someone, if I don't help them, who's going to help them? So it
Mhm.
should be me.
Okay. Do you think you have a different reason for caring?
No, those are about the same.
Okay. So I have loving, caring, kind, and compassionate. Now, what I want you to do is to, and this is something I do with my clients. What I want you to do is to, what type of phone do you have?
I have a Android.
Oh man, I can't do it with you. No, I'm kidding. Um, do you? What's your alarm? What time do you typically wake up?
I try to wake up at like 4:45.
So I want you to set an alarm for about 10 a.m.
Okay.
And I want you to name your alarm those words that we just said: loving, caring, kind, and compassionate.
Okay.
Loving, caring, kind, and compassionate. I want you to name your alarm those words. And every time the alarm goes off, every single day, I want you to say, I am loving, I am caring, I am kind, and I am compassionate. I am loving, I am caring, I am kind, and I'm compassionate. Every day. And the reason why I want you to do that is because this is the new neural pathway that we're going to create in your mind. And so I've I've done this 3 years ago when I was given this same exact exercise to do. Um, my words that I use, I'm a servant leader, I'm knowledgeable, I'm blunt, and I'm respectable. I say those words every day to myself. And the reason why is because 3 years ago, I was the furthest thing from being kind or a servant leader, like furthest. Super selfish dude. A lot of people may not know that about me, but I knew that I wanted to change. I knew that I wanted to be a different person. And so I started saying those words. And so my alarm clock still goes off every single day, and I say those words to myself out loud. I'm a servant leader. I'm knowledgeable. I'm blunt. I'm respectable. And now, when I look back at my life and I look at the things that I'm doing now, like it's all about giving and helping, and that was not me 3 years ago at all. But because I kept saying these words, it pushed me to start rewriting my subconscious and seeing this picture of who I really want to be versus who and the things that I've been guided by for all these years. Does that make sense?
It does. I was gonna say I wouldn't believe you. You're such a go-giver. But
Ask people that knew me 3 years ago. Listen, and this is the thing, Josie. This is why I am so passionate about transformation, because I know it's possible, because that's me. I like, I know it. So when people give me reasons and excuses and all that type of stuff about things they've been through, I try to not bring all of my experience in, but it's like it's still an excuse. They may be valid, but
Hmm.
I know that I've done it. And I mean, I could give you stories upon stories of the crap that I've done and this transformation. I'm still going through my transformation. I'm not there yet, right? I'm super aware of it, and I have habits and things that I do to implement to help me not stay in those places. But I think that's the difference between me and most people, is that I have habits that help me when I'm having weak days. I have habits that help me, that I do every day, because I have no idea when I'm gonna wake up feeling like a failure, or feeling like this entrepreneurship journey isn't for me, or feeling um I have those days when I just wake up and I'm like, dude, who do you think you are? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I have habits that counteract. I call it my EpiPen for my mind, right? Like, you
Mm.
have this allergic reaction, and it's like, let me stick myself with my EpiPen, which is like my habits that I implement, and it helps me feel better almost right away. And so, and that's what I love to teach, and I'm super passionate about, is creating these habits to help you, because I cannot promise that these thoughts are going to go away. I can't do that. That would be irresponsible of me to say that they're all going to go
Hmm.
away. But if I could give you things and strategies to things to do when they come, then it's the balance of like, you sway one way, you know what to do to pull right back, and you go this way, you know what to do to
Hmm.
come back to the center. And that's how I govern my life. That's those are the things that I do, and those are the things I share with my clients all the time. Like, you start feeling this way, do this. And is that helpful?
It is, when I know it's going to be hard, because when you said like say out loud that you're loving, I'm like, oh, I don't like. I could feel it. Like my body does not like that right now.
Yeah,
But
you
I
choke
think
up.
eventually it'll get easier.
It will. And I could relate to that, because I didn't look in the mirror and talk to myself. Like, I couldn't look myself in the eyes. Couldn't do it.
Same.
Couldn't do it. And now even when I'm in the gym, I intentionally look like like so intensely to myself in the mirror. I think people in the gym probably think I'm either crazy or like some kind of athlete or something, because I seem so focused when I'm in the gym. I'm super lost in another world of trying to conquer myself. Um
Mm-hmm.
like, that's where I push, like I try to look into my soul, man, and just really go after who I want to be. And that's the homework I really want to leave you with today. I want you to write a vision story of who you would want to be in the future.
Okay.
A positive one.
Okay.
A positive vision story of what your life could look like in the future, and without caps, right? Like, no cap, no limitation. Just dream. Do you think you could do that? Do you think do you think you would be able to take all the caps off and just dream for about 10-15 minutes?
I think I feel like it. I think I can. I think it'll just take me a couple of tries to like actually not put any limitations on what I can do.
Hmm. I would love for you to do that
I will.
because yeah, no, that would be amazing. Because that's one of the things that I also do when I'm having a rough day. I go back and I read my vision story. I reconnect with who I want to be in, who I said I wanted to be when when I'm not stressed out, when I'm in a great place. Because when we set goals, we're in a great place, right? We're motivated, we feel great, and but then
Mhm.
once you start going towards the goal, life kind of starts hitting you, and you're like, what did I think I was doing, right? And
Mhm.
reconnecting with those goals, reconnecting with that vision, re-inspires you. It just gives you that connection back, and it reminds you. And so I know that the process, I am gonna want to quit. I know that those feelings are gonna come up. It's like saying that you're going to the gym and you're like, when you get to the gym and after like 5 or 10 minutes, you're like, why did I say I was doing this? Right. Um, and
Yes.
and so that's the same with the goals. You start your goal and you're just like, oh my God, this sucks, you know. But reconnecting with it reminds you as to your why. It reminds you of all the reasons why you're doing it.
I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be
Are
hard,
you
but I'm gonna do it.
are you excited to do it, or you're just kind of neutral about it?
I'm nervous. I feel like I can only feel anxiety. But I think it'll be fun because when I was young, I had so many hopes and dreams, and then get older, and I guess I got more cynical.
Yeah, but most people, their their imagination goes away as we get older, unfortunately. And imagination is the only
Hmm.
redemptive power. It's the absolutely only redemptive power. What do I mean by that? I mean that if it is that you feel like a loser, you feel like a thief, if you feel like crap, if you can't see yourself as somebody else, you would always remain that way. And so for you to see yourself as someone
Hmm.
else, that's your imagination. And so like
Sounds like
people don't understand.
oh, sorry.
Huh? Go ahead.
I was gonna say it sounds like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like if I keep hearing that I'm a thief, like eventually probably will become one.
It's the neural pathway, right? It's the pathway that you created.
Hmm.
Because whatever
Hmm.
you hear and you start feeling and you accept, you start walking in that. You're like, well, I'm a thief anyway. And you just do thief stuff.
Hmm.
But if you keep telling yourself of all the other words that I'm loving, I'm caring, and I'm compassionate and I'm kind, like, then what do you think would happen? You would have that self fulfilling prophecy.
Hmm.
You see?
Yeah. I think I want to change one of the words to intelligent because I have like a inferiority complex.
I love intelligent. So we're going to replace kind with intelligent.
Perfect. Loving, caring, compassionate, and intelligent.
There you go. How does that make you feel?
I'm smiling right now, but on the inside, I feel like a little bit of like, I want to say it's disgust because I'm not used to giving myself positive I don't know if it's an affirmation, but positive feedback. I think
Yeah.
I'm the path I've always created is just the negative.
Hmm. And it's okay to feel disgust. It's totally okay. So here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna start doing this, and your body, your mind is not gonna like it at all. But if you could promise me that you're gonna do it anyway, now this is where discipline comes in. If you could continue to do it regardless of how your body feels, because your body is gonna try to tell you, stop playing yourself. Who do you think you are? You're stupid. Like, no, you're not. And it's gonna try to tell you that for months. Months. It's gonna
Hmm.
your will to continue to do this. You need to join my community, is what you need to do. Because
Definitely.
you're gonna need the accountability and the encouragement as you go through this process. And that's the reason why I started the new Purpose Ways group coaching, because I
Hmm.
want people to come together to support each other through this process of transformation. Because the inevitable happens where we have these types of sessions, we have these meetings, and it's like, oh man, I feel like I know what to do. But like you said, and man, you're so honest. I love you for that. On the inside, you already know that you feel disgusted. You're like, your inside is already like, all right, finish having this meeting and then we're gonna talk after, right? That's kind of
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind
That
of
sounds very accurate.
right. Like, you finish having this conversation and then we're gonna have the real conversation. and
Hmm.
and without being in a group that understands what you're going through, and without being in a group that is able to support you and to help you through the recovery process, that voice 9 out of 10 times is going to be way more powerful with you dealing with it on your own.
Hmm.
Way, 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 way more powerful. Um, and so it's a matter of really staying connected. Now, here's the here's the bigger question to all of this.
Hmm.
Do you have a burning desire to transform the way that you think and how you feel? And that you could be honest about too.
I don't know. I f- I feel like recently I've been seeing like glimpses of my old self where I'll be really happy and like energetic, and I know that changing my mindset is going to be really tough, but I also want to see how much potential I have. Like if I put so many limits on myself, but I've arguably succeeded in life, or what I consider success in life,
Hmm.
then I really want to see like what I could do without all of these limitations. So I guess yeah. I don't know if it's like a roaring fire, but maybe like a small campfire at the moment.
No, that's fair. I'd love to get it to a roaring fire.
Right.
Be-
Well, me too.
but it's okay if it starts off. And this is where, again, community, where now we could continue to throw more wood into the fire, right? Like, you just keep
Mhm.
throwing more wood, and you at least you have a spark. And so
Yeah,
now we need to get
definitely.
that spark to just kind of get to an explosion where you're able to really tap in to potential without the caps, without those thoughts, and the support is the key major piece.
Hmm.
um, and I think you could do it. I think, not I think, I know you can. And with the help of let's say Gary Brecker and the
Mhm.
support of medicine, um, I do believe that you'd be able to see a major transformation in a matter of months. I believe if you do get the right treatment, and it's supplements. He doesn't give you like medication. It's supplements that he gives you to naturally get your DNA to what it's supposed to be. That's what they do. It's like a
Mhm.
natural thing. And so supplements and supplements assisted with the coaching and the
Mhm.
guidance. Um, because I'm gonna be in your butt. That's you remember one of my words is blunt, right? Like that's
Yep.
one of the things I just say. So it's I think that would be a formula to get into the other side of who you really want to be, and having that vision story for your life, that picture, and to just kind of look at that and be like, this is where I want to be, this is who I am, this is like, that's gonna be amazing for you.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, because it arguably I feel successful now, but without limitations, like I don't want to say like I could change the world, but like maybe I could
Maybe you could.
without limitations.
Why not? You absolutely can. And I think that's the secret to life. It's to getting to a place of no limitations, because limitation, like, do you believe like we're spiritual beings? Do you believe that?
I do.
So spirits can never be created or destroyed. There's an unlimited power in spirit. And if we are spirit, which I also believe, so we're spirit, so we have this unlimited power. It's kind of like electricity. And
Mhm.
electricity is only displayed through the conduit in which it's in. So these bulbs, they only radiate a specific amount of energy. Right now, this is probably like a 100 watt bulb or
Oh.
whatever, right?
Mhm.
Um, you may have a few in your nice, pretty home over there, right? You have a few, so you got 60 watt, you got all types of different wattage, but it can't display more than the vessel that it's being portrayed through, right?
Mhm.
So the
Mhm.
cap is going to be 100, but then the same electricity could cook on your stove. So you
Yeah.
could you, different voltage, but now you could use it in a different way, and now it's way more use. Now you could use it to charge your car, right?
Yeah.
Same electricity. You could use it to light up a stadium, to light up the entire block. Different forms.
Mhm.
I believe that as spiritual beings, how we think is the form through which the spirit is able to express itself. And so the limitations we put
Wow.
on ourselves,
Mhm.
it's like the it's like the 60 watt bulb or the 100 watt
Mhm.
or the car or the stove or the stadium, or like, it's like, who who are we? Where's our limitation? Where's our cap?
Mhm.
It's it's based on our thoughts, because Elon Musk,
Mhm. Mhm.
he just knows, he just allows himself to be a bigger vessel.
Yeah.
Same 24 hours, breathes the same, takes a crap the same, everything is the same, right? But he's just a different vessel based on his thoughts.
Mm.
Tony
Mhm.
Robbins, same thing. Grant Cardone, Pace, all these, like, we're all human, but our spiritual expression is based on the limitations of our thoughts and how we control that, how we give it the ability to flow through us, and that's up to us.
I think I think I got it. So going back to what we were talking about, like the one path to the tool shed, I
Yeah,
feel like right now I just have like, like those horse blinders that
yeah,
like you just see right in front of you. So those I put on myself are my limitations, but if I take those off, I could see like all of the grass and all of the different ways that I could get to where I want to be.
100%. That's it.
Perfect. Got it.
That is it. And man, I don't even want to say another word. Like I feel like let's take that and just run, like let's just run like all the way with it.
I love
Um I'm excited for you, and like that smile seems so real right now.
it. I'm usually when I'm happy, I'm usually very smiley. It's been a while since I felt like this.
That's awesome. That makes me super happy, by the way.
Yeah, I'm glad.
It makes my day really. So that's awesome.
I never thought I would make your day.
Oh, well, you totally just did. Congratulations.
Mark it off my bucket list.
Yeah. Josie, do you have any other questions for me? Today's been amazing.
Eh, yeah, today has been fantastic. Is there anything that I can add value to your life with what you're doing?
Help spread the word, man. Like, share this link, tell people about what's going on, what we're doing with the group coaching and all of that. I just want to be able to help I want to do this a billion times. I want to be able
Mm-hmm.
to just impact so many people because I know change is possible. It takes work, but I know it's possible. And I want to be able to help as many people as possible. And this is me thinking unlimitedly, right? Like I
Mm-hmm.
just that's how you can help me.
Oh, I absolutely will. Like, if you don't want your life changed, don't click this link.
Exactly. Exactly. I love it. Well, Josie, thank you so much for allowing me to be a vessel to you and you being here. This has been so, so, so good. Um, so good. Thank you so much. Any final words before we get out of here?
No, just thank you so much for helping me see that I am the one who put these blinders on me, but you're showing me a way to take them off. So that's amazing. Thank you so much.
That is awesome. Appreciate you. Guys, day 17 is in the books, and this has to be one of my favorites. This has to be one of my favorites where Josie really opened up and she was super honest, and we were able to give guidance in an amazing way. I believe that this session today is going to be a life transforming one in giving clarity and direction. And that fills my heart. Mission accomplished. Like it just feels so good. Now I want to do this a billion more times. So help me do it. Share the link, guys. Like and subscribe. My mission is to help transform minds, especially of aspiring entrepreneurs, through coaching, influencing, and motivating them, giving tools for them to succeed. Peace and love, y'all. Catch y'all tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. This has been fun. Miracle March signing out.